Bear down, Bears fans. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about the wide receiver battles heading into training camp. What is that going to look like, and who is going to be in the biggest competitions? All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So we got some wide receiver battles here heading into camp, and it's going to be interesting to see kind of who comes out on the winning side of this. When you're looking kind of at the depth chart, there's some guys who I think might be camp guys at the beginning that I want to bring out, right? I think I look at Thyrick Pitts, Darius Fontaine, and Simba Walker. To me, those are the guys that probably are going to make that camp roster, that, or, you know, they're going to be the guys out there to compete for sure, probably in line to get on a practice squad somewhere. I don't see them realistically being a part of the main mix as it is, but I do want to mention them because it's really cool that these guys get an opportunity to go out there and fight for their dream. Y'all know I'm big on, you know, accomplishing your dream with everything I've done here at the Breeze. So I love that these guys have an opportunity to go out there and have an ability to fight for your dream, man. Like, let's see what can come from this opportunity. I don't expect a ton from those guys though, but then I start to get into kind of some of the position battles that I see, and to me, right, I try to look at what is set already, what's set in stone with Chicago Bears. To me, what we have set already, you're probably looking at these three here, right? I mean, you know what DJ Moore is going to be. He's your number one coming into this system. Your question mark here is on your other two, Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool, right? I don't know what the story is on Claypool. I don't know if I believe all of the Bears basically are done with this guy. They're not excited with what he's done. And right, like, I don't know if I follow all of that. Like, I haven't seen anything from Chase Claypool, but the problem is, right, I haven't seen anything from Chase Claypool. He's had the soft tissue injury. He was injured a good chunk of last season. I need to see something. I need to see this guy be able to come out here. And again, I think Claypool's a really good player. I do. Like, I don't understand how people look at his 2 years in Pittsburgh and just go, this guy sucked. The one season, right, where he's basically was at his best, this is rookie year. He had 9 touchdowns that season, got like 3 more targets, ended up bringing in 3 more passes. And basically, right, was this dominant quarterback or a dominant wide receiver as the number 2. On the flip side of that, the second year, right, not as dominant. Ben Roethlisberger ends up hurt. They're bringing in Mason Rudolph. You got a ton of question marks as Ben comes back at the quarterback position. There's a bunch of influx. The Steelers just aren't very good. Like, nobody looks at that part of it and says, even though this guy got the same amount of targets, brought in the same amount of catches, didn't score the same amount of touchdowns, the Steelers were a much worse team. You know, I kind of try and figure it out from that standpoint. And then coming into last season, right, they really moved off of him, bringing in George Pickens. I also do believe, here's the other thing that maybe isn't talked about, right? Some people's situation doesn't fit everywhere. And I think that Chase Claypool was one of those guys. Very much like Juju Smith-Schuster got up out of there. Very much like Antonio Brown got up out of there, although Antonio Brown for very different reasons, but more so Juju, right? Like, that situation is for people who are no nonsense, come into work, do the job every day, get the heck out of there type of players. Seems like Chase Claypool is a lot more of a, hey, I want to come to work, have a good time, enjoy myself. We want to be laughing and joking, ha ha, he he. We want to make this happen, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I get that a lot of people don't like that aspect of, you know, I guess, right, like the game, but at the same time, he's 24 years old. The guy wants to have a good time. He should put his nose to the grindstone. I just need him to come out here and make plays. Like, that's all I need to see from him. I'm not sitting here telling you his time in Chicago has been sunshines and roses, but I also don't look at the trade and go, oh my God, this is the worst trade the Chicago Bears ever could have made. And if it does end up being that, guess what? It does. Hopefully, right, we're in a position where we can go get another wide receiver next year because the Panthers are so bad that we can pay our 2 first-round picks together, go get Marvin Harrison Jr. maybe that is the case that ends up playing out. But at least on the Chase Claypool front, I don't think it's the end of the world just yet. I don't know if the Bears hate him all of a sudden. I think that maybe you just have to see the production on the field to justify the goofiness and the playfulness that comes along with the Chase Claypool. Let me know how you guys feel about Chase in the comments below. The other guy for me is Darnell Mooney. I think that this is a real position battle, not heading into training camp, right? Like I said, these guys are set. They're not going anywhere. But Darnell Mooney to me is the guy who has to show out with Justin Fields, because again, if there is a close competition between Claypool and Mooney, and we can only give, one of you guys a contract going into next season, they're going to give the contract to Claypool. They traded away capital for it. He is a Ryan Poles guy. Remember, Darnell Mooney's not a Poles guy. He is a pace guy. He is a Ryan Poles guy. They're going to give that contract to Claypool if the production is similar. Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields seem like they have this real rapport. They seem like they have this bond. They seem like they're really rocking with each other here. I hope to see that continue on. I love Darnell Mooney. I love Darnell Mooney on this team. I don't think we've seen the best of Mooney. I love when you can use him in the slot as that guy that is the guy that can go get 1,200 yards, right? I love the footwork of Mooney on his route running ability. I love the hands. I just need to see more of it. And the thing that goes into Mooney having these down seasons as well that you got to talk about is Justin Fields just not passing the ball basically for the last couple of years, enough for any wide receiver on the team to be out there having 1,000-yard season, right? Like, hopefully the offense is also going to dictate Mooney getting a lot more touches here. But I do see Darnell Mooney as another guy that I think is going to be pretty good on this team. Let me know how you guys feel about Mooney in the comments below. What does he need to beat out Chase Claypool this season? To me, I think that like I said, if that production is similar, they're probably going to lean giving the contract to Claypool. I mean, you still got Komet on the roster as well, so that's somebody else that needs to get paid. Let me know. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well, man. And then you start to look at some of the other guys on this team, right? Some of the guys who are more of the fringe guys, in my opinion, the guys who are not only competing for time on the field, but are competing for reps in general, that have a real shot of possibly making the team here. And that's this foursome right here. You know what I mean? Like, I like what I'm seeing in the room early. I think Tyler Scott could be a real guy that the Chicago Bears are really looking into being a part of this organization, probably long term, right? And then you see Equanimeous St. Brown on there, of course, Velus Jones, draft pick from last season, and Dante Pettis. Now, we've already heard that Dante Pettis has been getting utilized in a lot of the passing game, right? Like the deep shots. That's been Dante Pettis getting some of those on the decoy plays where DJ Moore's underneath. They're using Dante Pettis' speed. They get up under that ball. They get it down there. A couple of deep shots there. I believe Velus Jones is also getting some of those opportunities as well. But really, when you look at those four guys, man, I think the battle there is probably between Pettis and Velus Jones. And those are the two that you got to watch the closest. Tyler Scott's a rookie. He's going to make the team. You pretty much know he's going to make the team. And I think the Bears are coming into this probably keeping 6 wide receivers. I like Equanimeous St. Brown as a good backup option, possibly sliding in, I don't know, maybe 30-40% of the offense, not a ton of the offense here. But I like Equanimeous St. Brown as a solid piece coming off of the bench. Boom. I know he's a guy that I can make the right play. I can get the ball to. He's got good size, got good enough hands that if Justin Fields is rolling and everybody else is getting this done, I can make that play. That's probably your 4 main wide receivers that you're going to there. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, and then Equanimeous St. Brown. So now you're asking yourself, all right, who are we keeping on the roster for special teams duties? We also have Travis Homer in the running back room, which we'll talk about every position room coming up on this kind of a little what would this be called, right? A little saga, a little they call it something on YouTube. I forget what it's called. Right? We just go series. That's what it's called, a little series where we go through all the position battles. But realistically speaking, right, like I think those are the 4 you take in. Your competition is going to come between who's going to get most of those special teams duties. Dante Pettis, Velus Jones. Tyler Scott, to me, is the young guy on the roster that you're hoping, is able to kind of make a name for himself. But right now he's just on the roster because of where he was drafted. The Velus Jones, I guess, of last season. And now the question mark comes in with Velus Jones and Dante Pettis. And to me, Velus Jones right now, I like that he's working himself back in. From everything that we've heard, he had a pretty good offseason, a pretty pretty good camp to this point. Not anything crazy, but I mean, like, he's in the mix. He's getting touches. He's fighting his way back in punt return. He's fighting his way back in kick returns. I think that hopefully that's where he's going to be able to make his name. That's where everybody wanted to see him have his success last season. Of course, it came with a couple of fumbles. And the problem with Velus Jones, I know everybody's like, he's a young player. You can't just sit there and move on from him. You can't give up on a guy like this. The problem is he's not just a young player. Yes, he's still young. I believe Velus Jones right now is 26 years old. Yeah, he's 26 years old right now. And listen, that's not that young of a player in the NFL. Is this still a guy that can go out there and make a name for himself? 100%. I'm not saying just go out and give up on him. Like, I hope that he has a fighting chance, but you kind of see the Tyler Scott draft pick to me as the autocorrect in what you saw last season. I mean, basically he's about an inch shorter. They're pretty close. Nah, Velus might got him by a little bit of weight. Nah, Velus got him by about 20 pounds. Velus got him by about, Velus has him in the weight, but speed-wise, right? He's a speedster. He's a good guy to get downfield. He's got good hands, at least from what we've heard. The biggest question mark with Velus was hands. Like, you got to be able to bring in these passes. And I don't get excited by the one play that we see of him last season, the deep shot down the field where he catches the football, goes down from Justin Fields. I'm not excited by that. You want to know why I'm not excited by that? Because I don't get excited by wide receivers doing their job for the first time in the season. This guy was brought in to be a kick return guy. Now, I will say the Bears used him in the punt return, tried to expand him into that. He wasn't a punt returner in college. Again, the Bears using a guy where he didn't fit, but he wasn't a punt returner in college. So to me, I'm not sitting here like, oh my goodness, this guy is this guy is right. But what I will say is that the opportunity is there for him. The opportunity was there for him last season, and he kind of crumbled in that opportunity. And because of the age that he is, he's not going to have as much rope as somebody else will. He's 26 years old. I mean, you look at a guy, and this is his second year in the league. Right behind him is Tyler Scott. He's 21. Right? They're going to bet on the guy who's going to be younger longer unless you do something astronomically well. So that's going to be a really close battle to watch, because Velus to me is going to have to show out, I believe, even just to make this team possibly. And we'll see what that ends up turning into. I don't know if the Bears want to all of a sudden just give up on Velus Jones and cut him out of here, but I also don't see the Bears taking 7 wide receivers into the season. But at the end of the day, let me know how you guys feel, man. Dante Pettis to me is a kick return guy. And I guess that's the other side of the debate, right? Like, Dante Pettis is out there. He's solid hands on the kick return, solid hands on the punt return, and you already know he's good at it, right? Like that's the thing. That's the tough part for me when it's talking about seeing Velus have a spot on this team. I already have somebody on the roster that's good at it. Oh, by the way, I also can use him on some of the deep shots they're working in with Justin. Oh, by the way, I also can use him on underneath stuff. I can also use him in the slot. I think Dante Pettis is more versatile already, and that makes things hard on Velus. I think Velus is going to have to show out a little bit. But hey, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Who do you think is who's the guy that's going to come out of this wide receiver battle on top? I mean, there's going to be some battles heading into camp. This is a spot to watch really close, because as we know, injuries happen. So you're going to have guys on your roster, even on your practice squad if need be, that are going to be able to come up and have seen some NFL action. You really just got Nsimba Walker on that team. Maybe Thyrick Pitts is the answer on that, but we'll see, man. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue. I had a tongue twister there. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.